Morning, Bruce. Morning.
Morning, Ira. How you doing, brother?
Good, brother. Bruce, no rest for the weary. Here comes free agency around the corner. Uh, Bruce, in your experience, how much will the Brady aura, the Brady effect be a factor in keeping free agents, acquiring free agents, or Bruce, does it usually come down to the money?
It's usually the money, Ira. If it's close, I think our guys really want to stay, and they know they have something special. I don't think any of them want to leave, and it's. I don't get involved in the dollars. I just let them know we want them back, and they want to be back. So hopefully we can get everything done and keep our guys.
We'll go to Greg Allman.
Hey, Bruce. Hope you're doing well. I just want to ask you about this event tomorrow night. I know you'd like to do things in person, but things where they are right now, it seems like a pretty strong lineup you got coming together to help you out.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to raise money for your foundations anymore, and it came up what I thought was a great idea. Anytime happy hour is involved, I'm good to go. So it is a great lineup with Blake Shelton, Kane Brown, Frank Caliendo, who finally got me down perfect. I mean, it's amazing. He is amazing. Rich Eisen's going to host it. And it's going to be fun.
Thanks,
we'll have
dude.
some players on there too. So.
Oh, well, great.
We'll go over to Rick Stroud.
Yeah.
Hey, Bruce. I know you've done this before, but it doesn't hurt to be a Super Bowl champion. Does this help your platform to try to do some of your off-field work?
Yeah, Rick. I mean, with the pandemic, not being able to have foundation dinners, and hopefully, right now we're going to schedule an outdoor event, a golf tournament, concert, hopefully sometime in April, and be as safe as possible, which should be our big fundraiser. But this one, I thought it was a great idea to come up with raising some money and having a hell of a lot of fun.
Thanks. All right, we'll go back to Ira.
Bruce, on Chris Godwin in particular, Bruce, I don't know if there's any question about your evaluation of him and how good a player he is. And Tom has called him have the best hands he's ever been around, Bruce. But Bruce, the guy might want to be paid as a number one receiver. So there's a lot of factors involved with keeping Godwin. What's your feeling on that?
Ira, he loves it here. It's hard to leave and go to another system just for money, but it's not bad paying two number one receivers, that's for sure, when they're as good as our two number ones.
All right, we'll go to Rick.
Bruce, with guys that are veterans that, whether it's Ndamukong Suh or particularly Gronk with his relationship with Tom, would you think they're not going to play for free, right? But would you think that their desire to win another ring might trump salary at some point?
I don't think it'll trump it much, Rick, but hopefully we can keep them, within the framework of the team, and because I know they both want to be back, and right. That's one thing I stay away from. I don't get involved in their dollars, and but I would hope that they will both be structurally really, really in a ballpark where we can get it done.
We'll go to Mark Cook.
Hey, Coach, how you feeling? Good?
Oh, fantastic.
Great. Hey, I'm just curious. I know you've been involved in this charity for a while, but what got you and your wife involved in something like this? I mean, you have kids of your own. I know this involves foster care and the guardian ad litem program, but what was it that drew you guys to this type of program out of all the different charities you could have chose to sponsor?
Yeah, my wife started out as she called it a broken family lawyer. She had her law degree, and I moved her to, after 5 bar exams, she said I had enough, and she started volunteering for Kids Voice of Indiana. And I watched her do this work for 15 years, saving these children one at a time. And they're still very close to her. I mean, shoot, it's 25 years, and these kids still call her all the time. It's very, very dear to us because I know how fruitful it is for the children. And they need a positive voice in their life. And they're in a situation through no fault of their own, and they need help. And, we try to raise as much awareness as we possibly can. and raise as much dollars to train these people to help these children.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
You bet.
We'll go to Greg Allman.
Hey, Bruce, as you send these players kind of on their way for the off season, I know you do it not knowing necessarily when you'll see them again. I know the hope is that you'll have something closer to a normal off season, but just want to ask you what your reasonable expectations are for what kind of work you'll have with the team in April, in May, with OTAs, with mini camps, that kind of thing.
You know, it's always voluntary. So, I mean, for us, we've lost the development of 2 years of players, and now we'll be drafting some guys that didn't play last year. 3 years of young player development that if we lose spring, they're not getting developed. Now, yeah, the veterans love that because they may not get to take their jobs. So when you got the veterans voting on the rules, same thing that happened the last time in the CBA when Jeff Saturday and Kevin Wyatt, got all the work rules put into place. So these guys, these young kids need practice. Now, if the vets don't want to come, they don't have to come. It's still voluntary. So, but we need the preseason. We definitely need some preseason games. And the ramp up period we had last year, there were a ton of soft tissue injuries because they weren't in shape. And so I'm going to fight what they're saying about the injuries because there were a ton of injuries because they weren't practicing.
Thanks, Bruce.
You bet.
We'll go back to Rick Stroud.
Bruce, without a combine, a tradition preparing for the draft, I know you watched a lot of film, but will you rely more on pro days if they have them? I mean, how will you sort of navigate that as a head coach?
Yeah, I think, Rick, for me, it's always been what's on tape. Now let's do the background on the person. You go to the combine, you fall in love with those guys in shorts. They run 4.3. Then you look at the film, they don't run 4.3. When he's playing, and that guy that ran 4.6, he's the fastest guy on the field. So the tape don't lie, and you can fall in love and get your heart broken at the combine. But when I do go to the combine, I look for certain things and certain drills because they're not really, they're track drills. They're not really football drills, especially the big guys. But you can see them bending, you can see their athleticism and that kind of thing. But it's a process that I'm going to miss. As you said the other day, I'm going to miss that walk. That's always a fun walk when you got the championship. But the evaluation process as it went last year, I thought Jason did a great job, and all the scouts and coaches finding people we liked and then slotting them where they belonged on the board. Every guy we picked, a coach loved or a scout loved. And when you do that, it's hard to miss.
Oh,
We'll go to Gabrielle Shirley.
Hi, Coach. In regards to this event, one, can you tell me what players are going to be hopping on the virtual event? And two, I know a lot of these players have their own foundations, and we also all know how close you guys are. Can you talk to me about the players' support of your foundation?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, we haven't had the golf tournament and some of the things. We had a dinner last year and a bunch of guys came. I think Vita and Devin White will be on Mike Evans if he gets power back in Texas. I'm hoping everybody down in Texas is doing okay. I've got some family down there too. So, but those three guys, and then Kane Brown and Blake Shelton, Frank Caliendo, Rich Eisen will host it, and we'll have a lot of fun.
We're going to go over to Mark Cook. Mark? All right. We'll go to Carmen.
Hi, Coach. How are you?
Doing, Carmen? How you doing, baby?
I'm doing well. I just wanted to, on that note, ask you about how you went about asking these guys and how it all came together, because it's quite a celebrity lineup and your relationship. I know you've had a relationship with some of these guys for a while.
Yeah, Steve Webster, who runs the foundation, CMPR, and Jake, they got together and came up with what I thought was a great idea, because it's so hard finding ways. We had the thing with Rivals that we did during games this year and raised some money, but Blake's a dear friend and came. They've done performed at our events in the past, and Rich Eisen is a good friend, and then Frank Caliendo, he got me down pat now. So it should be a hell of a lot of fun, and Devin and Vita and hopefully Mike Evans will be a part of it if Mike gets some power in Texas.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. That's all for this morning. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.